exactly it came from. The coaches kind of came up with it, but basically, so we have some really strong metal chains hanging up out there, and they're basically what we're trying to rebuild in our culture. So kind of like hand in hand, like arm in arm, we're going to be really strong and be unbreakable. So it's kind of a representation of what we want our culture to be back like.
And you hand out little chain
Yeah,
links in the locker
so we
room?
have like little miniature links that we hand out. So whether like someone's a good teammate or someone's doing something to build the culture back up, things like that, we hand those out so we're highlighting the good things.
How do you go about building the culture? I mean, what are things that you're rewarding? What are things you're doing to build that culture back up?
Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of things. There could be things like Andy hit really good when we scrimmaged, and that was one of them. One of them could be like Becca's giving me a ride while my car's in the shop, you know, things like that. There's a big variety of things, just really trying to highlight and emphasize the little things that ultimately are what's going to build that culture back up.
What's the excitement level to be back in front of Husker fans this weekend?
We're so excited. We've been working really, really hard all spring, and so we're excited just to be in front of fans again and kind of be in that environment and get to show Husker Nation what we've been working on.
You and Lexi, as two of the old heads still, how have you guys kind of balanced being leaders still on this team, but with only maybe 2 new freshmen this year, and how have you seen those 2 young girls step up?
Oh yeah, they're awesome. Liv and Sky have stepped right into our program and just elevated the level of play, and I think that's really, really impressive to do as freshmen in general, but also with the level that our gym was already at. That's really, really special for them to come in and do, and so have to give huge props to them too. Walking by me right now pretending like I'm not talking about them, but they've done great. They've really meshed into this program well, obviously on the court, but also as people. They're great girls and they're super great teammates, and so they've meshed in perfectly and honestly really seamlessly.
John's talked how he's challenged both you and Lexi you're all Americans to get better. I mean, what ways have you focused on improving this spring?
Yeah, I mean, they're little things. So one of them is my footwork. Like, you wouldn't think that a 21-year-old girl who's a senior in college is focusing on her footwork, you know? Like, that's not something that you really think about. But for me, it's just those little adjustments, and I know Lexi's kind of in the same boat as what little adjustments can get me a few more kills and her a few more digs that ultimately are the difference between winning a national championship and losing one.
What's been just the mindset in the locker room this spring coming off of that national title loss, and what's just been the punchline from coaches all spring?
Yeah, I think honestly we kind of discussed it at the beginning. It's like the elephant in the room, you know, like everyone's hungry and everyone wants to be back in that position and ultimately have a different result. So we definitely addressed it at the beginning, but now it's just been focusing on us and how are we going to get better, and so kind of taking that pressure off and just making it about us and our side of the net and how are we going to get better day in and day out.
Well, last year the spring match was kind of your introduction to Nebraska fans and then going out and seeing the state. How different is this year going to be for you? Now you've been through a season, you know what to expect a little bit. How different will it be?
Yeah, I mean, it's just another volleyball game, and now that I know what to expect and kind of have had Husker Nation support me for an entire year and support our team, kind of understand what Husker Nation is, it'll be a little bit not as nerve-wracking this go around just because I've been through it before, but I think it'll just be focusing on preparing the freshmen and trying to help them be okay in that environment.
When it comes to just the culture that you've been talking about, what are conversations like with your teammates just in practice, kind of being in these facilities to try and continue to forge that?
Yeah, I think the first and biggest one is holding each other accountable. I think when you come off of such a good season and such a good run, it's really easy to get complacent. And so for us, it's just been holding each other accountable, whether that's as teammates, that's on the volleyball court, things like that. First and foremost, we've had to do that. And then also just being there for each other. And like, for example, we did 17 today, and half the team's not supposed to finish it, but everyone finished it. And those little moments, and half the team was only supposed to do 11, and everyone did 17. So like those little things are what we're trying to do and trying to make sure that we're united as a team. Just little interactions.
17 is?
It's kind of, yeah, it's a drill. It's like a gasser finisher almost.
What's the favorite reason that you received a link for?
Ooh. Coach gave me a link because I broke the hand off of the metal robot. Because we were working on hitting high and hard, and I broke the whole hand off. So I guess that's a funny one. Yeah.
Was the concert like the whole team?
It was awesome. Yeah.
Team night?
Yeah, we kind of joked about it in the locker room, and Coach was like, haha, like Zach Bryant's coming, like, you guys want to go? And we were like, yeah, and he didn't think we were going to be serious and like actually want to go. And so somehow he worked it out, and some really, really kind people gifted us those tickets. So it was really cool. Shout out to those guys for helping us out. But it was a really cool team bonding event, and just being able to go out of volleyball clothes and out of the volleyball gym with our team is really special.
I know the revival is kind theme for last year too. Was it different to see it in person and kind of, do you like the John Cook version better or what?
Well, we did listen to it every day, every practice, every day during warm-ups throughout the fall. So we kind of got a little tired of it there for a little bit, but we've had a nice little break, so we were able to enjoy it. But we do have our own Nebraska Volleyball versions, and so I'll say he's definitely a much better singer than we are. So we'll let him keep doing that.
Final questions for Merritt?
I got a question. How has the team made adjustments both offensively and defensively for the NCAA double contact rule for the next season?
Well, offensively, everyone who's not a setter is being way more aggressive with setting because it takes that pressure off of, like, I hate setting. Like, and I was always like, oh my gosh, Merritt, don't double it, you know, but now I don't have that pressure. So I think for us, we talk a lot about everyone being able to set in certain situations. You never know when it's going to come down to me having to set or Harper having to set. So for us, that's been really helpful. And then it's kind of weird. We had to, I mean, I guess defensively we had to adjust to it a little bit because if it doubles and comes over, they call it. So it's like kind of weird that we're having to adjust to those rules. But I would say it's more offensively than defensively.
All right, thanks, Merritt.
Thank you.
Thank you, Merritt.